Hello everybody, welcome back to Action Jack Media. Today, we're making some babies. We're gonna take a journey to the Fountain of Youth. You guys remember the Don't Drink the Water episode in Ben 10? You know, the one where Ben becomes, I think, a 3-year-old, and all of his aliens are also affected? You know, this episode. And Grandpa Max is also a kid. Yeah, so what if we took that concept and translated that to the remaining aliens that we didn't get to see in that episode? So just to recap, or maybe for those of you who haven't seen the episode, in that episode we saw child versions of Wild Mutt, Forearms, Stinkfly, and Heat Blast. Two of those child aliens got nicknames, Wild Pup and Stinky Fly, but Forearms and Heat Blast never got nicknames. Now, because this is me and this is a drawing challenge of some kind, I am going to be not only redesigning the aliens to look younger, but I'm going to be redesigning their costumes and, you know, giving them nicknames and things like that, just to make the entire concept a bit more cohesive. Up first, we have Diamond Head, which I am going to nickname Diamond Shard. He is just a lot more scrawny and a lot more agile looking, although in general he looks about the same. I was actually kind of struggling with Diamond Head because I think it's stated in lore that Petrosapiens are just born fully formed, or they come out of stone or something like that. I might be conflating that with Steven Universe, but I feel like there was something that said that they don't age in the traditional way. I was always under the impression, based on what we saw in a few of the episodes with Tetrax and stuff, is that they age very quickly in the first couple years of their life, and they develop very quickly, and then, you know, from the age of 10 they are officially like adults, and that's why the Diamond Head that we see Ben use in the classic series is like the same proportions as a fully adult Petrosapien. So I decided to scale that back just a little bit, make him a little bit more childlike, a little bit more scrawny, a little bit more gangly in some ways, but he's still very much Diamond Head. He's still very much the character that we know and love. Up next, we have probably one of my favorites that we've done this episode. We have Ripjaws. I wanted to go a little wild with the concept. I looked at actual real-life anglerfish for this one, trying to see what their young look like and how they develop as a species. And I learned that infant anglerfish are almost completely transparent. You can see all their bones, all their organs inside. So I gave Ripjaws this big patch on his chest where you can see his rib cage that would slowly cover over with scales and become more of a developed muscular structure as he aged. And I thought that was a unique concept. It gave a juvenile version a reason to be protected. I also think that he can't stay out of the water for much longer, or for any, you know, meaningful amount of time. I think if Ben were to become this version of Ripjaws, he would be even more at a disadvantage, and would need to immediately seek out water. Otherwise, he would not only dry up and not be able to breathe, but he would reverse drown pretty quickly. And the nickname for this guy would be Clampjaws. Up next, we have Gray Matter, and it is canonical that Gray Matter species come from tadpoles. So I wanted to do that like in-between stage of tadpole and frog and make him kind of a polywog, with the tadpole tail but the much more frog-like anatomy. I also like removed his neck. Maybe that hasn't developed yet. He's very much in this in-between stage between those two creatures. And I think we decided to call this one Mini Matter. Up next, we have an alien that we've affectionately nicknamed Pinbolt. Just a very small version of Cannonbolt. He's basically the same, and I actually had some interesting concepts for the species of you know, how an Arborian Paloroda would develop during their early years. I believe they would probably learn to roll before they would learn to walk, and I imagine that a mother Paloroda would like curl their child into a ball and then curl around them to protect them. So it would be like a ball inside of a ball that rolled around, and that would actually help them get used to the equilibrium that they need to prevent them from getting sick while they roll around. I thought that was an interesting concept, but overall it's just Cannonbolt but smaller. He definitely cannot walk. Now we are working on Accelerate, which we couldn't find a nickname for all that well. The best one we landed on was XLR4 or something like that, or Speed Break, but that's not necessarily even a play on the name. It was just something kind of different. I removed the roller balls from his feet on this one. I took from the reboot lore about how young Kinesilerans would have to go on a spiritual journey or a rite of passage to go and find their rollerball pearls. I also shortened his claws. Maybe they would harden and get more developed over time. And obviously I redesigned the outfit and made the tail and stuff shorter. These would be a little bit more clumsy. He wouldn't be able to run quite as fast, but he would still be able to keep up, I think. Ghost Freak was one that I had an interesting time with. I took the concept of the Ectonurite shedding their skin more and more as they grow, and I designed Ghost Freak to look like a Halloween sheet ghost with the frayed bottom, and I thought that worked pretty well. For a young Ectonurite, I think it would be pretty useful to have extra layers of skin for protection and things like that. The concepts that I went off of for a lot of these aliens were based on what do babies need? They need protection, they need to be cared for, they need to be able to survive, right? So either the parent needs to be taking care of them, or they need to have a way of defending themselves. And the nickname that we chose for Ghost Freak is Spook Freak. So up next we have the only example of a young Galvanic Mechamorph. I don't think Galvanic Mechamorphs would ever really look like this in lore, but I needed an excuse to make a baby upgrade. So I just kind of took the ship model and tweaked it, put the Omnitrix on the eye, similar to how it is in Omniverse, and I made a underdeveloped Mechamorph. I don't think that this is what they would actually look like as young in the show. I think a true newborn Mechamorph would be basically an adult, but Ship is the closest equivalent that we have because he has a lower mass. He doesn't have as many powers as a regular Mechamorph, and he is just slightly less developed. The nickname we chose for him is Update. Moving on to Wildvine. This one was actually a little bit more challenging because we hadn't had any examples of what a younger Florana would look like, so I just kind of underdeveloped him in a few key ways. I gave him less legs, I gave him less spikes. The seed pods on his back are more like buds. They haven't fully developed into seeds yet. And I made him an overall lighter color because plants tend to darken as they age. And of course I made the Venus flytrap collar that he has much less developed in a way that he actually couldn't cover his head with it. So he would need more protection from an adult. And the name we chose for this one is Wild Sprout. And finally, to cap off this particular episode, we have the Leboan form. I didn't want to name this one like Ben Pup or, you know, Pup Wolf or whatever. I don't know. I think the name we settled for on this one was Blitz Pupper. Just you know, a wolf pup and werewolf and, you know, whatever. Blitzwolfer is the Omniverse name for him. Even though I don't love Blitzwolfer as a name, I think Ben Wolf works better because it is a pun on, you know, Man Wolf or the Wolf Man. But anyway, that's besides the point. Powers-wise, I think he's going to be basically the same. His cries, I feel like, either could be much less powerful or much more powerful than adults, because babies cry and it has a lot of effect. The main purpose of their cry at this young would be to alert their parents, so it would be much more of a higher-pitched thing. It might even be similar to a dog whistle that, like, would alert the parents but nothing else. That would be an interesting power switch up for this young Loboan to have. But elsewise, I just kind of drew Ben Wolf, but younger, and changed up his outfit a little bit. So that is going to do it for this video, guys. We did 9 aliens in this video. If you want me to go back and redesign the 4 that we saw in the actual episode, let me know. I do plan on making as many aliens as children as I can, and I want to get a little bit more creative with them. The next episode for sure will have, you know, Snarrow and Ben Victor and all that stuff. And I want to do the next 9 aliens, or maybe 10. I don't know how many are left in the classic series, but I'll try to complete all the aliens that are in the classic series at the very least. And then maybe we'll move on to doing Alien Force and Ultimate Alien and all that junk, right? All of the Omniverse aliens, and I'll try to get every alien that we've seen in the show, at least, as a juvenile form. No promises, but, like, I would like to. I think it would be an interesting concept. That way, we have a baseline, you know, of what they would look like. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you share it with your friends. I hope you comment, and I hope that you like and subscribe and hit the bell. Dislike it if you want. I'm never going to see it. You know, YouTube got rid of dislikes recently, apparently. So, yeah. Ben 10 children, babies, whatever, was a fun concept that I would like to explore more of. And I'll see you next time, I guess. Peace.